Hey guys, so if you follow me on Instagram, you will know that something that I really like to do is to paint fake tattoos on myself using makeup. I first did that for the first time about a year ago. I was just having fun with some old liquid liner that I didn't want to use on my eyes because I didn't like it. So I decided to draw on my arm. I just thought it was super fun, and so it's something that I've done a few times since then. So yeah, I asked you guys on Instagram if you would want to see a video on me doing the fake tattoos with makeup, and you guys said yes. I'm gonna actually maybe turn it into a mini series on my channel, so if you guys would like to see that, then let me know. Oh, I didn't check if I have lipstick on my teeth. Do I? If I do, just don't even look at it, okay? So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing today. I'm gonna be doing this guy right here. I know this is a super awkward position to be showing you this right now, but let me just insert a different clip where it doesn't look so awkward. Basically, I'm just gonna speed through how I did it, every single step, and I really only used two different makeup items. One is the NYX Vinyl Liquid Liner. Honestly, a matte liquid liner would be better. NYX does make a matte one, but I ran out of it, so I had to use this vinyl one. Honestly, because tattoos are not shiny, they are matte. So if you have a matte one, that would be a lot better, but the reason I use this one is because the tip is so fine that you can really do a lot of detail with it. Also, you're going to want to shade it if you're doing a black tattoo. Usually they have a lot of shading, so I'm using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm using the black eyeshadow in there to do the shading with a tiny little brush. And then at the end, I'm going to be using just any white translucent setting powder just to mattify it and make it look even more like kind of old and worn like a tattoo. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's something new and kind of fun for me, so I hope you guys think it's fun too. So I'm just going to get right into it. Let's do it. So I'm starting out in the very center of my forearm, and this is going to be where the very teeny tiny little rosebud is going to be that's in the center of the rose. So I'm starting in the very center because it's just easier to start there rather than to start with the outermost petals. I'm just drawing that little circle and then basically drawing a little swirly design in the middle. By the way, I am definitely looking at a reference photo when doing this, and I got inspiration from a picture from Ziu on DeviantArt. I don't know if I said that right, but I will link that down below so you guys can see what picture I went off of. I honestly just Googled tattoo rose to find a picture that I liked, and I went for a pretty simplistic looking one to make it a little bit easier on myself. Basically, I'm just going petal by petal, referencing the photo just to see how the petals lay on a rose. Like I said, looking at a picture is going to be your best friend for doing something like this. Basically, the petals kind of overlap one another and they get larger the further out they go. So that's kind of what I'm doing here, and if I need to, I'll go back over the lines twice just to make them thicker. I don't want them to be too thin. And then it's important to connect those petals at the base right there because that's kind of where the rose is opening up. So I'm just going around and creating these larger petals that are on the outside of the rose. Sorry you guys can't really see what's going on the right side of my forearm over there. I was in a really awkward position, but hopefully you can see most of it. So I'm basically just wanting to make sure that the rose is a circular shape. Once I'm done adding all of the petals, I'm going around and making these little line marks on the petals. This is just going to give it some texture and make it look just a tiny bit more realistic, or at least give it some more character. So I'm just kind of going around to each and every petal, and I'm not going straight down on every one. I'm kind of looking at how the petal is laying, and I am drawing the lines accordingly. So obviously the lowest petals that are opening kind of upside down are going to have lines that go from the bottom of the petal towards the center, if that makes sense. And now I'm moving on to the leaves, and if you look up tattoo rose, a lot of them have leaves that look like this, that are kind of pointed in a triangular shape and then have a different little triangle in the middle, and then lines that connect to the outline of the leaf itself. So I'm just having a really steady hand and going around with these lines. Then I decided I wanted to thicken up the lines of the leaves a little bit. Originally I started with the main big center leaf in the middle, and then did one leaf on either side. And then I obviously did the same thing on the bottom. I wanted it to be pretty symmetrical and even. And this is where that NYX eyeliner really comes in handy. As you can see, these lines are super thin and really close together, so if you were to use like a really thick liquid liner, it wouldn't work out so well, so that's why the fine tip really helps. So now, as you can see, I decided to add one more leaf on each side, on the top and bottom, just to make the leaves a little bit splayed out, a little bit wider. And then my camera cut out for whatever reason, but basically I just made a triangle type line connecting the outermost leaf on the left side to the outermost leaf on the right side on the top. And I did another line on top of that. And I'm making sure to connect the biggest leaf in the middle so there's no space between the line and the leaf top. And then I'm just doing the same thing on the bottom, obviously, just connecting it to that outer leaf. Basically, I'm just freestyling this part. I had no idea what I was going for, but I knew I wanted it to be a little more intricate. So now I'm doing half circle shapes along that top line. I'm just connecting it up to the very point and then down to the bottom point. And I'm kind of tapering them and making them smaller as they go down further. And now I'm doing smaller half circles in those circles. I just wanted it to be a little more intricate, and I'm honestly not even breathing. I think I was holding my breath when I was doing this part just because it's so intricate and you have to be so careful. And then of course I'm doing the same thing on the bottom. And if you find that you have like hairier arms, or if you wrap around the sides like I did, I have hair on the tops of my arms obviously, so it's going to be a little bit messy there, but just don't worry about it. Just be a little extra careful. Then I decided to do these kind of diamond shapes on the top and bottom, and now I'm just going in with really fine details. I like to add dots to tattoos like this, so I'm just adding 3 dots in each corner of each leaf pretty much. And then I decided the sides were too bare, and I didn't care what it looked like from the side, but I wanted it to look better from the top, so I'm just adding these weird kind of filled in triangle marks and some more lines. Then I'm going in between each little half circle that we just did, and I'm applying a dot in between each one. And now I'm going to do the shading because a lot of tattoos have shading. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that black eyeshadow from the Kat Von D Shade and Light eye palette, and I'm taking a very tiny little fluffy pencil. And basically the rule of thumb here is to just find the parts of the rose that are kind of hidden beneath other petals. So if there's another petal on top of it or in front of it, then it's going to have some shading on it. So that's where I'm applying this black eyeshadow. And also the other petals that are kind of coming outwards, like blooming outwards, I'm going to shade the parts of those that are kind of turning outwards. So basically just going around and filling in every single place where the petal is hiding behind another petal, just to make it a little bit darker. And sometimes I even go in with a second layer of the black in the deepest parts of the rose, and then I just make it a little bit darker there. And I also found it really helpful to just kind of blend it out with my finger as I went along. Not too much though, because I didn't want the entire petal to be like a gray color, but I just found that blending it out with my finger helps to kind of smoothen out the blending a little bit. The leaves were a lot easier to shade. Basically, I'm just going up that middle triangular shape on either side of it and just darkening up that part of the leaf. And then I'm also going along the bottoms of the leaves because they are coming out from underneath the flower petal. And obviously that's going to be darker there, so I'm just going in with another layer of that black eyeshadow and just darkening up the bottom parts of the leaves. You really don't have to do the shading for this if you don't want to. It's just kind of an optional thing, but I just thought it made it look a little more realistic. And then for the last step, this is also optional, but I felt like it just helped it a little bit, especially since I wasn't using a matte liquid liner. I'm taking the translucent powder from NYX and I'm just blotting that with a brush just to kind of tone down that shininess. And that's pretty much it. I'd say it took me about an hour, but obviously I sped this up so you guys wouldn't have to sit through the whole hour. I hope you guys like this video. Again, let me know if you want me to do more things like this, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!